Today, we will talk about Ian Stewart's Nature's Numbers, Chapter 1. On Chapter 1 of Nature's Numbers, Ian Stewart describes how we live in a pattern. From animals to plants, from living to non-living things, there's a pattern. He states that there are no two snowflakes that are exactly the same, but all have six-fold symmetry. Tigers and zebras have their own pattern of stripes, while leopards and hyenas are covered in patterns of spots. The chapter also talks about Johannes Kepler, who wrote a book named The Six-Cornered Snowflake, which he gave to his sponsor for New Year's. Johannes uses the regular nightly motion of the stars and the time of Earth's rotation as a clue of patterns. The chapter also talks about planets, which came from the Greek word planetes or wanderer. It took a lot longer to understand the pattern of planetary motion than it did to work out why stars seem to move in nightly circles. One difficulty is that we are inside the solar system moving around with it. The planets were clues to the rules behind gravity and motion. That is all. Thank you.
We talk about the nature's numbers in Chapter 1. In Chapter 1 of the nature's numbers, the regular nightly motion of the stars is also a clue. This time, that the fact the Earth rotates, waves and dunes are clues to the rules that govern in the water, sand, and air. In Chapter 1, there is beauty of the nature's clue. We can call recognized without any mathematical training. Mathematics is to the nature of Sherlock Holmes, is to evidence. His partner, Dr. Watson, who was not sensitive to such matter. Once we have learned to recognize background pattern exemption suddenly out, the Greeks called the planets, meaning wanderer, a term retained in our word planet. It took a lot of longer understand the patterns of planetary motion than did it to the work. Stars seem to move in nightly circles inside the solar system, moving along with it. The planets were close to the rules behind gravity and motion. That's all.
So I'm going to talk about Ian Stewart, Natures of Numbers, Chapter 1 in this blog. Ian Stewart explained in this chapter why we live in various living and non-living patterns. Ian Stewart said that no two snowflakes are ever exactly the same, but they all have six-fold symmetry. For example, tigers and zebras are colored in patterns of stripes, with the patterns of spots surrounding leopards and hyenas. As a New Year's gift to his sponsor, a German astronomer named Johannes Kepler wrote a small book called The Six-Cornered Snowflake in this chapter. Ian Stewart addresses planets in this chapter and how to use mathematics to measure them. He also describes the different form and scale of the atmosphere. I hope you learn a lot from this chapter. Thank you.
We are living in a world where patterns are everywhere. That is not difficult to observe in nature. Stripes on zebras and tigers, spots on leopards and jaguars, hyenas, movement of star across the sky, number of seeds in the head of a sunflower, the shape of a snowflake, and even colored arc light adorn the sky in the form of rainbow are all happen based on a pattern. Pattern possesses beauty as well as utility. If one were to study the pattern, it would be the best thing to use those patterns in our daily life applications. Patterns are basically numerical patterns, geometric patterns, and movement, translation, rotation, reflection patterns. Through patterns, mathematicians and scientists were able to make their theories like Isaac Newton's theories of gravity, where he explained all sorts of puzzles about the motion of stars and planets. We still have a lot of development on mathematical theories that reveal secrets of nature patterns. With a newfound understanding of nature's secret, we are able to discover and create new things with nature. It also helps us to appreciate and understand and taking care of our nature where we live in.
Chapter 1 The Natural Order. Ian Stewart begins the book by describing some of the nature's multitude of patterns. The six-fold symmetry of snowflakes, the stripes of tigers, zebras, leopards, and hyenas, the waves of the ocean, the sand dunes of the desert, the rainbow in the sky, and the drops of the water from the clouds. Arranged from the Fibonacci sequence from 1 to 1. So the next After 1 is 1 because there was nothing before it. Then the number after 1 is 2 because the sum of 1 plus 1 is 2. Then 2 plus 1 is 3. Then 3 plus 2 is 5. Then so on and so forth. The whole sequence appear again and again in nature. We are surrounded by patterns. All of these irregularities happening but does not explain why this pattern occurs because of nature's secrets. The patterns will be explained in chapter 2 of Nature's Numbers. That's all. Thank you.